Welcome to back my YouTube channel. We bring you the most exciting stories from the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and astonishing finds that could be sitting right in your pocket change without you even knowing it. And today's topic is bound to fascinate coin collectors, hobbyists, and treasure hunters alike because we're diving deep into the story of a 2015 1-cent coin. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 2015 Lincoln penny that could be worth up to $452 because of its incredible errors and rare minting mistakes that transformed it from everyday pocket change into a valuable collectible item with big money potential. And as we peel back the layers of this intriguing coin's journey, we'll uncover all the fascinating details, the possible variations, the types of errors, and how these anomalies occur in the minting process that can elevate a penny far beyond its face value. So if you've ever glanced at your spare change and wondered if it could be worth something much more than 1 cent, stay tuned as we unravel the hidden secrets behind the 2015 penny that shocked collectors by fetching hundreds of dollars in the open market. And to begin with, let's understand that the 2015 Lincoln penny was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the Philadelphia coins bearing no mint mark and the Denver coins showing the familiar DEV mint mark just under the date. And while the vast majority of these coins were perfectly ordinary and minted in the billions, a small percentage of them contained critical minting errors that make them extraordinarily valuable to the right buyer. And one of the most common and desirable errors found on the 2015 1-cent piece is the double die error, where the design elements such as Lincoln's eye, his lips, the date, or the inscriptions like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or "E Pluribus Unum" on the reverse can appear duplicated or slightly shifted due to a misalignment in the hubbing process when the dies were being created. And these double die obverse or double die reverse errors can significantly increase the value of the coin because collectors are constantly on the lookout for clear, well-defined doubling, especially if it affects multiple design features. And while some minor doubling might only boost a coin's value slightly, examples with prominent, easily visible doubling have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars depending on their condition, rarity, and the severity of the doubling. And then there are off-center strike errors where the coin is struck when the planchette is not properly centered in the collar, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted dramatically. And depending on how far off-center the strike is, and whether the date is still visible, these coins can command impressive premiums, with certain 2015 pennies struck 50% off-center and retaining a clear date easily going for over $400 among error collectors. And that's just the beginning, because another rare and sought-after variety of the 2015 penny is the broad strike error, which happens when the retaining collar that holds the coin in place during the strike is not functioning properly, allowing the metal to spread outward during the strike, and resulting in a coin that is wider and flatter than normal, often with a distorted or incomplete rim. And while such errors might appear accidental and even unattractive to the untrained eye, they are actually highly collectible and can push a penny's value into the hundreds if the error is significant and the coin is in mint state condition. And speaking of condition, it's crucial to understand that the value of a 2015 penny with an error depends heavily on its grade, as coins that are uncirculated or have minimal wear are far more desirable to collectors than those that have been in heavy circulation. So a 2015 double die or off-center penny graded MS65 or higher by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC is far more likely to fetch top dollar than a worn example. And let's not forget the intriguing world of die breaks and cuds, which occur when a portion of the die used to strike the coins cracks or breaks off, resulting in raised blobs or missing sections on the coin surface. And these die breaks can create unique, one-of-a-kind patterns that make each error coin special. And in the case of the 2015 penny, there have been reported cases of dramatic die breaks that span across Lincoln's portrait or even affect the lettering, leading collectors to pay a premium for these dramatic minting flaws. And then there are the so-called bubbled or blistered planchets, where gas trapped beneath the coin's surface during the minting process causes raised bubbles or distortions. And while not technically an error caused by the dies, these planchette flaws are still highly collectible and can be worth substantial amounts, especially if the bubbling affects a prominent part of the design. And another rare but valuable mistake involves coins that were struck on the wrong planchette entirely. For instance, a 2015 penny that was accidentally struck on a planchette meant for a dime or a foreign coin. And when authenticated, these wrong planchette errors can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the specifics of the mistake, the metal composition, and how much of the design was affected. And collectors prize these because they highlight the rare and unpredictable nature of the minting process, where even modern quality controls sometimes allow such fascinating oddities to escape into circulation. And we also must consider the impact of misaligned dies, where either the obverse or reverse die is out of alignment when the coin is struck, leading to coins that appear slightly rotated or shifted, and in extreme cases where the die rotation is significant, these errors can be very valuable. And let's not overlook the importance of transitional errors or composition anomalies, which occur when the US Mint transitions between metal compositions or planchet types, and although no known composition changes occurred in 2015, it is theoretically possible for blank planchets from previous years or different coin series to be used by mistake, leading to extremely rare and valuable off-metal errors. And then there are examples of retained struck-through errors, where a foreign object like a piece of wire, thread, or other debris gets struck into the surface of the coin during the minting process and remains embedded in the metal or leaves a clear impression, creating an unusual and highly collectible pattern that is often one of a kind. And again, depending on where the foreign object struck, how visible the damage is, and whether the date and key design features remain legible, these errors can significantly enhance the coin's value, sometimes pushing it well past the $452 mark in auction settings. And when it comes to the 2015 penny, the sheer volume of coins minted that year, over 9 billion in total, means that the law of large numbers works in favor of error hunters, because even if errors occur at a rate of 1 in a million, there could be dozens or even hundreds of 2015 pennies out there with dramatic, valuable minting flaws just waiting to be found by sharp-eyed collectors or everyday people examining their change. And this has led to a growing trend among numismatists and amateur coin enthusiasts to scrutinize every 2015 penny they come across, using magnifying glasses, microscopes, or high-resolution scans to detect even the subtlest signs of doubling, off-center strikes, planchet issues, or die deterioration, because the payoff can be well worth the time and effort involved. And let's not forget that prices are often determined by demand and competition among collectors. So if a particular error type gains popularity or becomes the focus of a major collecting community, the value of even previously minor errors can skyrocket, and this is precisely what happened with several 2015 penny varieties in recent years, where a combination of YouTube videos, forum discussions, and social media posts drew attention to specific double dies and striking errors, causing prices on auction sites like eBay or through private collectors to climb rapidly. And although it's important to authenticate these coins through reputable grading companies to ensure they are genuine and accurately described, the fact remains that the 2015 penny has become something of a modern treasure hunt for those in the know. And so next time you come across a 2015 1-cent piece, don't be so quick to spend it, examine it carefully, look for signs of doubling, off-center designs, unusual rims, die breaks, or foreign objects struck into the surface, because what might seem like a trivial, common coin could turn out to be a rare and valuable specimen worth hundreds of dollars. And remember that even though most pennies are worth just a cent, the rare exceptions like the error-laden 2015 penny we've explored today prove that the world of numismatics is filled with hidden gems, incredible stories, and real opportunities to strike it rich from something as simple as the change in your pocket. So keep collecting, keep looking, and you might just be the next lucky person to discover a $452 penny hiding in plain sight. Next 2009 a D1-cent coin, we explore the hidden gems and astonishing stories behind coins that seem ordinary at first glance but are actually worth a fortune to the right collector. And today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2009 AD Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and treasure hunters alike due to the presence of rare errors and minting mistakes that have turned this otherwise common penny into a potential $430 collectible piece. And if you're new here or a seasoned coin enthusiast, you definitely want to hear all the intriguing details about how and why this coin became so valuable, because the truth is that many people overlook the incredible opportunity these small coins represent, simply because they don't know what to look for or what these minting anomalies actually mean in terms of historical context, rarity, and market demand. And it all starts with the fact that 2009 was a special year for the Lincoln penny, as the United States Mint released 4 different reverse designs to commemorate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself. And these 4 designs, known as the birth and early childhood in Kentucky, the formative years in Indiana, the professional life in Illinois, and the presidency in Washington, D.C., each tell a different chapter in the life of one of America's most beloved presidents, making them historically significant and appealing to collectors right off the bat, and while billions of these coins were minted across both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, some of the coins from the Denver mint, which bear the mint mark just below the date, were struck with significant errors that have since been identified, catalogued, and valued at several $100s depending on the condition, the type of error, and the overall eye appeal to collectors. And one of the most notable and valuable types of error found on the 2009 D. Lincoln penny is the double die variety, particularly on the reverse side of the formative years design, where Lincoln is shown sitting on a log, reading a book, with a set of tools at his side, and collectors have discovered that on certain 2009 D examples, this reverse image exhibits strong doubling on Lincoln's hands, fingers, the book, and even the tools, which is a direct result of a misalignment in the hubbing process where the die was struck more than once in slightly different positions, causing a distinct and visible doubling effect that is highly sought after by collectors because it represents a true minting anomaly, and the stronger and more defined the doubling, the higher the coin's value, especially if the rest of the coin remains in uncirculated or mint state condition, and it's not just the formative years design that is prone to such errors, as other 2009 D pennies from the same commemorative series also exhibit various types of doubling, albeit to a lesser extent, and the birth and early childhood reverse, for example, has been reported with doubling on the log cabin design, particularly on the roof shingles, door frame, and window lines, adding another layer of value for collectors who are meticulous in their examination of fine details. And then there are the professional life reverses where doubling has been noted on Lincoln's legs, the building windows, and the inscriptions. And these kinds of double die errors are not only rare but also extremely specific, requiring careful analysis with magnification tools to verify their authenticity and strength, and that's why many coin hunters use digital microscopes or high-resolution scans to capture the exact positioning of the doubling, which can then be compared to known varieties listed in professional numismatic catalogs and error coin databases. And if you thought doubling was the only error that makes the 2009 D penny valuable, think again, because other dramatic and market influencing mistakes have also been found on this series, including off-center strikes, where the coin is struck outside the central collar ring, resulting in a misaligned design that can be as little as 5% off or as much as 80% off-center, with the more dramatic examples fetching hundreds of dollars, especially if the date and mint mark remain clearly visible, as visibility of key identifying features is crucial for determining both authenticity and value in the numismatic market, and alongside off-center errors, collectors have also discovered broad strikes, where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during the striking process fails or is missing, allowing the metal to expand beyond its normal boundaries and creating a distorted, flat, or wider coin that is noticeably different from standard examples. And again, these broad strike errors are particularly valuable when they occur on coins with clean surfaces, no post-mint damage, and good eye appeal, making them a prized addition to any error collection. And then there are die cracks, die chips, and cuds, which are all the result of deteriorating or damaged dies used in the minting process, and these types of errors result in raised metal lines, blobs, or even missing portions of the design, typically near the rim or between design elements. And while some of these flaws might seem small or incidental to the casual observer, experienced collectors know that unique die breaks can create visually striking patterns that distinguish one coin from millions of others, effectively turning it into a one-of-a-kind item that attracts intense interest at auctions and among private collectors. And certain 2009 D Lincoln cents have shown significant die breaks running across Lincoln's portrait or along the reverse architectural elements, such as the rooflines or columns of the structures depicted. And these features are particularly appealing when they are large and bold enough to be visible without magnification, making them accessible and exciting for beginner collectors as well. And then we come to the realm of struck-through errors, which occur when foreign materials such as wire, cloth fibers, grease, or other contaminants get in between the die and the planchette at the moment of the strike, creating an impression or void in the coin that reflects the shape or presence of the obstructing material. And while grease-filled die errors are more common and tend to obscure parts of the design, creating so-called missing details errors, the struck-through debris errors are more rare and can command high prices when the object leaves behind a distinctive, unusual shape, or if it affects key parts of the coin like Lincoln's face, the date, or inscriptions such as the Liberty, or E Pluribus Unum, and further increasing the mystique and value of the 2009 D penny are examples of coins struck on the wrong planchette, such as those meant for dimes, nickels, or even foreign currency. which creates a fascinating mismatch between the coin's size, weight, and design, and collectors absolutely love these off-metal errors because they represent the most serious breaches of quality control and are typically very rare, with only a handful escaping the mint before being caught, and these wrong planchette errors can sell for several hundred or even thousands of dollars depending on the rarity of the planchette and the completeness of the design. And for 2009 AD cent specifically. Examples struck on dime planchets have surfaced with missing edge details and partial designs that clearly identify them as wrong planchette strikes, making them top-tier targets for advanced collectors, and of course, one cannot overstate the role that condition and grading play in determining the value of any error coin, and 2009 D pennies that have been professionally graded by top-tier organizations such as PCGS or NGC and assigned high mint state grades, especially MS65 and above, automatically command higher premiums due to their luster, strike quality, and preservation, and when you combine high grade with a dramatic or well-known error, you're looking at a coin that is not only historically significant but also financially valuable, and this has led many collectors to submit their best 2009 AD examples for grading, hoping to obtain both authentication and a market-boosting numeric grade that can push auction prices into the $400 range and beyond, and in recent years, the rise of online marketplaces, YouTube communities, Facebook groups, and coin forums has increased awareness of these errors and created a growing demand among both seasoned and novice collectors who are eager to build their own sets of 2009 Lincoln cents with unique attributes. And the attention given to these errors has helped drive up prices as demand grows and supply remains limited to the relatively few known specimens with such dramatic features, and what's even more interesting is that many of these valuable error coins have been discovered not in high-end coin shops or auctions, but in pocket change, coin rolls, estate sales, or even forgotten jars of coins tucked away in a drawer, and that means that the opportunity to find a $430 2009 AD penny could be within reach for anyone willing to take the time to look carefully and know what to look for. And this is what makes error coin collecting so appealing and exciting. It's the possibility that ordinary people can discover extraordinary coins through patience, education, and a little luck, and so we encourage you to take a fresh look at your spare change, your coin jars, your old collections, or even rolls of pennies from the bank, because a 2009 AD penny with a double die reverse, a strong die break, an off-center strike, a wrong planchette, or a struck-through error could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be recognized and appreciated for its true worth. And remember that each of these coins tells a story, not only of historical significance through its commemorative designs. Last 1996 LD 1 cent coin, explore rare coins, incredible numismatic discoveries, and jaw-dropping values hiding right in everyday pocket change. And in today's exciting and informative deep dive, we're going to talk about a coin that looks like just another common piece of copper-plated zinc, but due to a range of fascinating minting errors and production anomalies, it has sold for as much as $401 and continues to capture the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts all over the country. So let's take a closer look at the intriguing and potentially valuable 1996 AD Lincoln 1 cent coin, a seemingly ordinary coin that was struck at the Denver Mint and bears the the mint mark just under the year on the obverse, and yet in some examples this coin features minting flaws, striking mistakes, and other rare characteristics that push its value way beyond its face worth, turning it into a collector's dream. And as always, the magic lies in the mint errors and how they impact the coin's rarity, desirability, and market value. And to understand why this particular coin from 1996 is commanding such high prices on collector markets, we must first look into the different types of mint errors that have been reported, authenticated, and sold over the years, and leading the list are the dramatic double die errors which occur when the hub used to impress the design onto the die shifts slightly between impressions, resulting in design elements that appear duplicated. And on the 1996 LD Lincoln cent, doubling has been observed on the obverse in elements like Liberty, the year 1996, and In God We Trust, and collectors pay particular attention to the clarity, strength, and placement of the doubling, with the most valuable specimens exhibiting bold and easily visible doubled elements that are not confused with machine doubling, and similarly, the reverse of the coin can also feature doubling, especially around the Lincoln Memorial, the columns, and the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, and in cases where the doubling is prominent and the coin is in high mint state condition, the value can easily surpass several $100s, and that's just one class of errors. because another highly desirable flaw is the off-center strike, which occurs when the blank planchette is not properly aligned within the collar during the striking process, causing the design to be shifted away from the center of the coin, and the degree of the off-center strike determines its value, with minor misalignments fetching smaller premiums and dramatic 50% or more off-center strikes with a visible date and mint mark demanding top dollar. And what makes these off-center errors especially collectible is their uniqueness. No two are exactly alike, making them true one-of-a-kind pieces within the world of numismatics. And beyond that, we also see broad-struck errors on some 1996 D cents, which occur when the collar die malfunctions or is missing entirely, allowing the metal to expand freely during the strike, producing a coin with a flattened or slightly distorted shape and missing rim details. And while this might seem like damage to the untrained eye, collectors familiar with error types recognize this as a genuine mint error and will pay a premium, especially for uncirculated examples. And let's not forget about die breaks and cuds, which are among the most dramatic and visually interesting errors. And these occur when a section of the die cracks or breaks off entirely, leaving raised blobs or voids on the coin surface where design details should be. And 1996 AD Lincoln cents have been found with significant die breaks on both the obverse and reverse, sometimes extending through Lincoln's face or across the memorial on the reverse. And these die cracks, chips, and cuds are not only rare but often specific to a particular die pair, allowing collectors to trace and identify distinct die varieties. And more severe or uniquely shaped cuds are especially valuable due to their eye appeal and uniqueness. And then we have the fascinating category of struck-through errors, where a foreign object, be it a piece of thread, grease, metal shavings, or wire, gets lodged between the die and the planchette at the time of striking, leaving behind an impression or even embedding itself into the coin. And such errors are particularly rare on 1996 AD cents. But when found, they're considered exceptional due to their rarity and the unpredictable, often visually striking nature of the resulting error. And a coin with a struck-through staple, for example, could command a significant price premium, especially if the object remains embedded or its impression is cleanly visible across important design elements. And then there are wrong planchette errors, where a 1996 AD cent might be accidentally struck on a planchette intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin, resulting in weight, size, and metal composition anomalies that become immediately obvious to trained collectors and can fetch hundreds or even thousands depending on the specifics. And while these are exceptionally rare, there have been confirmed examples of cents from various years struck on dime or foreign coin planchets, so it is entirely within the realm of possibility for 1996 D examples to be discovered in similar condition. And speaking of metal composition, while 1996 D cents were struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, weighing about 2.5 grams, there have been instances in other years where leftover bronze planchets from pre-year 1982 were used by mistake, and finding a 1996 AD penny that weighs more than it should could indicate such an error. And when authenticated, this would add tremendous value due to both rarity and historical significance. And another lesser-known but equally interesting class of errors involves die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, leaving parts of the reverse design visible on the obverse die and vice versa. And coins struck after such an event will carry ghost-like impressions of these conflicting images, resulting in a mysterious and highly collectible appearance that intrigues collectors and drives up value, especially in mint state condition. And let's also talk about repunched mint marks, often abbreviated RPMs, which are a common area of interest for collectors who love variety coins. And in certain 1996 AD cents, the mint mark has been observed as having been punched more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in a noticeable overlapping or shadowing effect. And while repunched mint marks became less common as the mint switched to single squeeze hubbing methods, 1996 is still within the period where such errors are possible and desirable, and strong, well-centered RPMs can push the value of the coin into the hundreds, especially when the rest of the coin is free of damage or wear. And yet another error type worth mentioning is die deterioration doubling, which, while often confused with true double dies, can in extreme cases still add value when the deterioration creates unusual or highly visible distortions on the coin's lettering or design elements. And while generally not as valuable as true double dies, coins with extreme deterioration doubling can still catch the attention of collectors seeking oddities and varieties, especially if they're in high-grade condition. And one can't emphasize enough how critical the grade of a coin is when determining its value, as coins that are uncirculated or near mint are far more desirable. and a coin with a strong error in MS65 or better condition will always fetch more than the same error in circulated grade, and this is why many collectors take the extra step of submitting their error coins to third-party grading services like PCGS, NGC, or Anax to have them authenticated, graded, and encapsulated, which not only protects the coin but also maximizes its marketability and resale value. And when it comes to 1996 AD Lincoln Cents, error coins that have been graded and encapsulated with a detailed label noting the error type consistently sell for more than raw or ungraded examples, especially on platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections where collectors compete for certified pieces. And it's also worth mentioning that collector demand plays a huge role in driving up prices, and as more people become aware of the valuable error possibilities hidden in 1996 AD cents, the competition for top-quality examples increases, pushing prices up even further, and forums, YouTube videos, social media posts, and numismatic blogs have all contributed to raising awareness and enthusiasm for hunting these coins, creating a kind of modern treasure hunt where everyday people search through coin rolls, jars of old pennies, or even pocket change hoping to find a coin that might be worth $401 or more, and this ongoing surge in interest means that error coins like these are not just novelties, but legitimate collector items with long-term value and investment potential. And remember that the 1996 D penny with its high mintage number might seem common at first glance, but it is exactly because there are so many of them that small minting errors are often overlooked. And yet that also means that thousands of these coins are still sitting undiscovered in circulation, waiting for someone with a keen eye and the right knowledge to find them. And that someone could be you. So next time you come across a 1996 AD Lincoln Cent, don't dismiss it as pocket change, take a closer look under good lighting, use a magnifier or microscope if possible, check for signs of doubling, look for any unusual shapes, misalignments, strange blobs, ghostly impressions, or missing design details, measure the coin's weight and diameter if anything seems off, and if you think you've found something special, consider getting it authenticated and graded, because what looks like a pen